Hi everyone, in this tutorial we're going to get started with Istio. We're going to install Istio, we're going to install Minikube and make them work together. And with the use of Istio and its tracing capability, we're going to try to understand the inner workings of a Kubernetes deployment without even taking a look at the manifest in the first place. So let's get started. So first, let's start with the Minikube part. For Minikube, we'll have to, first install Minikube. I'm going to do it through my Pacman package manager. So I'm gonna find Minikube. In your case, whether you're using Ubuntu, you can install via apt. I believe there's various ways of doing that. So in my case, I'm just gonna install it really quickly. Confirm, and that should be it. There are various options in here. In case you're not using the default driver, you can set your Minikube hypervisor driver. In my case, I think I'm using default, so there's no need to do anything besides that. Now that I have Minikube installed, the only thing I have to do is just run Minikube start. I can just copy this command. The recommended amount of memory is about 16 gigs. Let's see, in my case I have exactly 16 gigs, so should be fine. It tells me that I have a maximum available, just a little bit lower, 200 megabytes short or 300, so I'm just gonna correct my amount of memory to the one that it wants here and hit enter. Okay, I have Minikube started. There are a couple of suggestions here to basically monitor your amount of RAM and things like that, optional things. I believe in my case I'm pretty set. So now I'm ready to proceed with the getting started instructions. So I'm actually asked to download Istio and install it. I can do it again through my package manager. Hit apply and I should be done. However, I would still need to get actually the release of Istio to get the sample code for running a default application, in this case the book info application, and also notably the demo configuration for my Istio cluster, which gave me a little bit of a headache prior to this recording. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna copy the link. Just gonna get this. And I'm going to extract its contents. Okay, that should be done. I've installed Istio. Now I have to sort of configure Istio with the demo profile, which opens the all the gateways, the egress gateway, ingress, and all the extensive tracing that we want to see in this particular demo of Istio. So I'm going to do that. However, besides the set, I have to set the path to my manifests in my case, so the command is going to be a little bit different. Istioctl is going to be this command, which basically it's set profile demo skip confirmation and setting the path to my manifests, which includes the demo YAML manifest. It's just a sort of a manual way to specify the direct path to manifests. In my case, I had to do that. In your case, you might not have to do that, or if you have to, then that's the way to do it. Okay, you just have to point to where have you extracted the Istio release previously. So I'm just gonna hit enter, and it's basically started, okay, and installed correctly. Now I have to add the namespace label to instruct Istio to automatically inject sidecar proxies, okay, when I deploy my application. So let's do that. Okay, well, maybe in my case I already did it once and it complains that I have already have the value enabled. That is okay. And now what we have to do is to actually apply the book info manifest and deploy the application. So let's do that. It's going to be under samples. Book info platform cube. Bookinfo.yaml, and that is that. Okay. Seems like on my side everything is unchanged. Let's see, what about the services? Are they in place? Yeah, we see details, ratings, reviews. I'm intentionally not going into the book info YAML. My sort of aim for this demo is through Istio and its visualization capabilities to be able to understand the application. What I want to do is to run the application and see the traces of it, and then sort of understand the sort of deployment configuration. And then I'm going to open the book info YAML and just sort of confirm that yes, that sort of confirms what I've seen based on the Istio traces. Okay, but that's gonna be a bit later. Let's make sure that we have everything started properly. Let's run kubectl get pods to make sure that the pods are up and running. In your case, it might take a few minutes for the pods to get started. It'll spend quite a while in the pod initializing stage, but don't worry, just give it a little bit of time. As it says in here, rerun the previous command until you see that pods have status ready. Essentially 2 out of 2, which means that the pod has the container itself, reviews, ratings, product page plus the envoy sidecar. That's why it's 2 out of 2. One is for the, for example, product page container service, and the other is going to be for the sidecar. So we have 2 containers per pod. Okay, let's verify that everything is working. Essentially, it's just gonna, I believe, do a curl at this point and retrieve part of the web page for the sort of book info application. So let's do that. And we got it. So it means that with a few more commands, we should be able to go to the browser and visualize everything. Let's see. Now we have to do is to open the application to the outside traffic. and apply a manifest for it, which is located under networking, book info gateway. Okay, so let's do that. It's networking, book info gateway. Okay, in my case it's unchanged because I did it already. In your case, if you see created, that's basically going to confirm that the gateway has been created. And just let's make sure that just in case there are no sort of mistakes in the manifests that have been applied. Okay, so no validation issues, everything is going fine. Now we have to determine the IPs and the ports that we will be later using to actually access our application. So let's get our ingress and egress ports. Okay, we just assign them to some basically variables in here, and then let's echo them and see what the values are. We got the ingress port and secure ingress port. Our IP is going to be the Minikube IP, and we can echo that as well. And after that, essentially, we want to send the traffic from the Minikube to the Istio ingress gateway, and that's what we can do via the Minikube tunnel. It will be a blocking process, so we'll have to open another terminal in here, and the gateway URL is going to be essentially our ingress host and ingress port plus / product page. So if we can locate our ingress host, basically this one, and our ingress port, and the URI is going to be product page. That's it, that's our application. We can view it successfully. Let's see what are the next steps. Is to essentially view the dashboard. Okay, so let's do that too, so we can jump in straight onto the dashboard. So what we have to do is essentially apply some manifests, which will essentially install the dashboard. In this case, Kiali is the name of the dashboard for Istio. So let's do that. Okay, in my case, everything is unchanged. In your case, if you see some errors regarding Kiali, don't worry, you can rerun this command a second time. As mentioned in here, for me it also failed the first time, and then I reran it again, and it installed Kiali successfully. You can also confirm that everything has been installed, just to make sure that the rollout of the sort of Kiali deployment is okay. We can execute this command, and we see that the deployment of Kiali successfully is rolled out. Now, what we have to do is to run this command istio-ctl dashboard Kiali, and it'll essentially open the dashboard for us. like so. Or I can just copy it and go into my main browser. And essentially what we want to do is to go then to graph, select the namespace default, and visualize. Let's display our graph in here. So we can see our nodes displayed sort of in a scattered manner in here. So the way that it all works is essentially we have to generate some traffic, as we see here, incoming, outgoing, and Istio is going to sort of observe this traffic and create traces for us. And these traces are going to last for a couple of minutes, and let's say half an hour, so that if I set half an hour, then I go into my previous traces. Okay, let's set what about 5 minutes, maybe 1 minute. Okay, then let's do it quickly. 1 minute and refresh of 10 seconds. So let's take a look. Essentially, every time that we go to this bookstore application, we see that the reviews, we either get the ratings, sometimes they're red, sometimes they're black, and sometimes they're missing out. So essentially we can figure out that there could be 3 versions of the ratings service. So something here is querying some ratings, and sometimes ratings could be coming from a version 1 rating service. Sometimes the ratings can come from the version 2 of the rating service, and sometimes they're empty. Could be that some version number 3 for some reason is broken or something and doesn't return the ratings themselves. So if we go to Istio, and as we've generated this kind of traffic, Istio has observed the traffic and created the traces for us. So if you go to versioned app graph, we see here that we hit the ingress gateway. We go to the product page, traffic is all HTTP. If we hover over the links, we go to product page service, which has just a single version, v1, and then it queries the details from the details service, also one single version. Then it queries the reviews, and the reviews essentially has 3 versions. Okay, so the reviews version 1, reviews version 2, and reviews version 3. So what causes this change here in the front end is essentially that every time, in a sort of round robin manner, every request is targeting a different reviews service, whether it's version 1, version 2, or version 3, and the traces of which are displayed in here. And essentially the reviews service version 2 can query ratings. The reviews version 3 also has access to the ratings. It probably does something to the, let's say, the color of the rating or something. And the reviews version 1 service does not query the ratings. That's why we see here that we don't have the stars in here. So essentially that is that. Without even reviewing the complex manifest of bookinfo.yaml, we've sort of understood what is the sort of flow in our application, and potentially maybe have identified some issues here in the link from v1 to ratings. So that is basically how Istio works. And lastly, we can go and take a look at the manifest of bookinfo itself, just to take a look and confirm everything. Essentially, we want to see here a product page service version 1. Then let's scroll up and we see the reviews, and in the reviews we actually expect here 3 versions: version 1, yes, version 2, and a version 3 in here. And we should be able also to see a ratings service in here, and of course the details service. So that was that, a sort of brief installation and intro to Istio. Make sure to subscribe and keep an eye for updates. I will definitely in the future take a look more in depth at Istio. So thank you very much for staying with me, and see you in the next tutorials.